Hello, everyone. I am Alessandra Cannelli, TESOL Italy's second Vice President, and I'd like to welcome you to this session of the TESOL Italy 48 Convention. I remind all the attendants that certificates of attendance will be available to download from the convention page of the TESOL Italy website after the convention. Our speaker for this session is Yen Yu Che, and he is going to talk about the use of chatbot asking questions in ELT. Is a PhD student of TESOL, interested in integrating technology and online learning resources in education. He is currently working on how to support Taiwanese English learners, both online and offline, in enhancing their English writing abilities. He is collaborating with Professor Chung, who unfortunately couldn't be present today, who is a chairperson in the Department of English at the National Cheng Chi University in Taiwan. And she is involved in research areas about corpus linguistics, lexical semantics, and cognitive linguistics. And she has published on Malay corpus linguistics, near synonyms research, and language on social media. So, Yu Chen, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the great introduction. I'm Yu Che Yan. Today I will be presenting our work with Professor Zhong as a co-author. We are going to present the use of chatbot tool for asking questions in ELT. So before we started, we can see on the right-hand side about using the chatbot on your cell phone. So by using the chatbot, we can apply in English teaching to help students to learn by asking questions. And through the responses, we can help students in English learning. So our main focus before we started, I'm going to introduce one of the great tools that we use. Before my introduction to that, I would sincerely, if you guys after this presentation, if you wish to contact us or share some of the ideas with us, you can join this Google Classroom with us to discuss the details of how to design a chatbot. All right, so here we are going to present how we use the chatbot in enhancing students' learning. The tools that we used is called EduAct, created by National Central University in Taiwan. Also one of the collaborative project with Professor Zhong and Professor Zhang in National Central University. This chatbot will be used to create a representative of the teacher in English teaching environment where students can learn with chatting with the chatbot to learn a certain goal that's set by English teachers. So if you are interested, here we have the QR code linked to this website. And today we are going to demonstrate how you can create your own representatives as a chatbot by using EduAct. So in here, we will have 4 different categories that we are going to discuss in details. The first one will be why use chatbot? And the second will be how we design the chatbot. And number 3 will be reviews the result. And number 4 will be invite your students. So come to the first chapter, why use chatbot? As we understand that using chatbot can be used to as a teaching assistant, and it can generate the materials, and it will help the student to have more motivations with or without teachers' help. So from the past research, we understand that AI technologies do help teachers to teach English writing. And in most studies in recent years, we found that ChatGPT can be one of the informative tools for students to learn, and not to mention as a chatbot. So AI really can help English teachers to generate a human-like article, whereas a non-English native speakers, as a teacher, we will also constantly have to think of a article related to an authentic one. With the use of the chatbot and AI technology, we truly can generate a human-like article and also an authentic context, suitable the needs for our students in different proficiency levels. So similar research also found that technology can help students to engage in class more actively and positively to motivate students in English learning. And two researchers in here having the same finding that both having a positive impact while using the AI technology in the classroom activities to enhance students' English abilities. While some of the teachers are fear of using the ChatGPT, for example, the AI technology, while the researchers in 2022 found that with the correct prompts given, the ChatGPT can generate articles without plagiarizing. So as we understand that by having a correct prompt, AI technology can truly help the students in English learning. So what we are gonna do by using the tools that we just introduced, the EduAct, our aim is to help English teachers to create a replica by using EduAct. As I mentioned, the chatbot is created by Huang et al. In 2023, accompany students by asking and answering questions after students read a story. So the story will be provided by the teachers, or it can be generated by EduAct itself. And the purpose is to help students understand how to make arguments. Let's say, for example, how to make arguments, how to make debates during the responses with the chatbot. And it can be one of the tools that English teacher can use to teach argumentation, for example, or we can use it to assist students to practice arguments without teachers, or even after school. So this chatbot can be used to demonstrate the arguments and create the questions and responses specifically for arguments with the students. So now we understand why we use the chatbot. So in chapter 2, I'm going to teach you how we use the EduAct to design a chatbot. So as I mentioned, we use EduAct to create the chatbot. So in here, in this chatbot, is a question answering responses of the chatbot that you can use in classroom, or you can provide it for your student after classroom for the practices. So while we are designing the chatbot, there will be 3 goals that we have to understand. There will be goals of the text, the first of all, and the second will be designs of modules, and the third one will be action strategies. So in the first part, goals of the text. So we have to set a certain goal for the student to understand, and also for the teachers to understand that how they can use the chatbot to assist their student understand how to make arguments, for example. So you have to let the EduAct, the chatbot, to understand what you are going to do as a teacher. So for example, in here we set the chatbot to help teachers to create a replica to assist students in learning the viewpoint of the argumentative article. And the argumentative article is created by the ChatGPT, for example. This is to be more authentic than we teacher try to adjust some of the article already exists in newspapers or the magazines. So the article can be input into the EduX, the chatbot. For the student as a reader to read the article before or in class. And further, it can demand students to deliver opinions through practices with the chatbot. So these prompts will have to input into the EduAct. To make it the EduAct, the chatbot, to understand that the goal and instruction are set to make clear understanding for the chatbot, what needs to be accomplished. And the steps, of course, set in the EduAct will have to achieve differently according to the text that you set for the chatbot to achieve. For example, if you successfully join in the chatbot of the EduAct, so you will come up with one of the started creating your own chatbot. And then you will come to this stage of the platform that you can see on the PPT slides. Even though there are some of the words are in Chinese, but don't worry, there will be English versions aside. So in here, you can see create my agent in here. So from the top, you can see there's a step 1, action information. So for this action information first part, you will see number 1, agent name. The agent name can be created with, for example, my name as a Yucha Yan. I created as a teacher Yan. And of course, you can create teaching assistant, for example, as your representative at the class. Or you can type whatever the word, the names you want in here. Let's say, for example, Jack, the assistant, or teacher only. And for the number 2, agent mode. So you will have to select the agent. The role of the agent can be teacher or student. Now, in most cases, as an English teacher, we set the agent as a teacher because we will try to create a replica for as a representative for the teacher, and student will have to respond it accordingly. But of course, you can choose students as the mode. And for the step number 3, there will be in the middle of the slides, you can see that there's an agent text goals. So in here, the agent text goals will have down to 150 characters input. So here, while you are typing the goals of your agent that you wish the chatbot to achieve, it should be more concise, and the purposes should be clear for the chatbot to understand what you're going to do as a replica. So say that, for example, I want to create a teachers to teach argumentation, to make arguments. So probably you can add the prompts, such as you are going to help you are going to help students in CEFR B1 level to understand how to make arguments during the conversation. So the words, again, should not exist over 150 characters. And after you type in your goals, you'll come to a section where it's called learning topic tag. So in here, you have to decide the learning topic. Let's say, for example, I want to make it arguments. So I just type in arguments. However, if you want to help your student to understand how to read the article, then you can type in stories, for example. And for the agent language over here will be the next steps that you have to select. And in the English learning classroom, we wish students to have more chances to talk in English. And even when they are having the question and answer responses with the chatbot, we will hope you can design as a English, while the teachers will, as a chatbot, will use English as the responses. But for the traditional Chinese, I believe most of us could not understand Chinese. So English will be the only choices here. So after you select the language of the agent, you will come up with one of the difficulties over here. That is there any specific topic that you would like your student to learn? For example, I would like my student to learn how to make arguments. Probably I will have one articles that I constantly mention in the classroom. So I will just upload the article that I just had in my classroom. And in here, if you want to upload the article, then you will have to come up with one of the select over here. That will be upload a learning topic file. And while you are trying to upload a learning topic file, you will see there's a file format over here. So the file format will be constantly be used as a CSV file format required. But if you don't have the CSV file required, don't worry. This website provided with a free CSV file here for you as a reference for you. So it will become up like that. The story file, for example, here, the column A will be the title of your article. And the column B will be the content of the article. So as you can see from the column A, there will be a different article title over here. That means you can upload different articles in the CSV file for the student to read. If I want to make student to understand different arguments, for example, I will just upload different titles and the contents in this file, and then upload it to the file we just see over here. What if you don't have any article to share or upload? Don't worry. While you are setting the agent text goals and the learning topic tag, this agent will understand what you're trying to do, so they will just generate some of the possible article for you if you don't have any article would like to upload. But mostly I would suggest you to upload one of the article that you would like students to read, because student will have more familiarity to the article, and they will just have to follow the article to understand the article in class or after class. So after you upload the article as a CSV file, then you will come to the next step. So after, let's say, for example, I type it as the example over here. The agent name will be Yan. The agent mode will be teacher. The agent text goals will be help non-English native speakers learn how to start a conversation with others. So the learning topic can be speech, and the agent language will be English. So I would like them to practice the how to start a conversation with others. So I have no specific context for them to practice. So the ActionAct will help me to generate the certain questions and responses with the students according to the answers that students input. So while you are typing for the step 1 finish, you will come to the step 2 text module. So we have to design the text modules. So after we design the learning goals in the first step, now we have to help the chatbot, the ActionAct, to understand what needs to be done. So for example, we have to add the text module. Let's say, for example, I want them to have the greetings, for example. Then I just type in greetings. And after typing the topic, and I come to the next step, the short text description. For example, I want the chatbot to have the friendly greetings for the students. So probably I will type in the purpose of this text is for you to greet the user, welcome him or her to the conversation. Explain the purpose of the conversation and how you plan to guide the user. So after you type it, if you are not satisfied with the typing you have, you can select modify the text description using ChatGPT. So if you type in this button, then the words inside will be modified into a more clear version. However, if you don't want, well, don't worry. You just remain the same as what you type inside the box. So after you do it, you say save text. So the text will be saved on the right-hand side, as you can see, for example. But if you are not satisfied, of course, you can just modify the text description using ChatGPT. And then save the text again. So the results will come to on the right-hand side of the platform. As you can see from the samples over here, they will start from greetings and conversations, exceptions, or switch of the story. So these are the basic texts we wish, typically, for the ActionAct to understand how to start a conversation with the students and how to end the conversations. But if you don't think this kind of conversation is needed, you can just delete it with the cross button. And also you can see from the sample over here, you will see there's a button which indicate up or down. That means you can switch the order of the text. So you do not need to name your task. You just need to press the button with up or down to make the order of your task. And here, there's other examples of the samples of the text, as you can see. Exception or the switch of the stories. For the exceptions, we want the student to understand that there's no exceeded questions or responses that is not in the spoken topic. So probably you will allow the student to have some exceptions, but the chatbot will have to understand they have to draw students' attention back to the topic they need to learn. So these are one of the very key importance. Because some of my students later, I will just give you the demonstration that they just perform in a different way that you can never imagine as a student. All right. So greetings are the most important, and also the end conversations. So if you think the description of the text is not clear enough, you can have the edit button to add the text again. And do remember, always save the text. Now come to the step 3. After you designed clearly with your text module. With different text module, that of course you can have different categories of the text. But after you design it, you can switch to the step 3, agent action strategies. For the agent action strategies means that the text modules you just set for the the chatbot AgiAct to understand what text must be done. But in here, step 3, agent action strategy, you can apply some of the rules for the AgiAct to understand what should be done. So in here, you can see the current text that we just added. Of course, this is from the examples. We will have 4 different texts over here, from the greetings and conversations, exceptions, and the switch of the stories. And from down here, if you are not satisfied with this design, of course, you can go back to previous step to make the modification. But if you are good enough to go, then you can come to the text selection rules. So for the text selection rules over here is how you are going to limit and give guidance to the AgiAct, the chatbot, to understand what should be done. For example, I want the chatbot to make the greetings first. So probably I would say the text 1 should be done first. The text 1 should be done first. Or you should done or apply or conduct the text accordingly. So as you can see from the current text, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. If you just type in a correct order, it can save you a lot of work. Just type in, just follow the text order to conduct the text. And then you add the rule to make the AgiAct to understand what should be done. And then you can add the other one again and save them in the rules. Now we come to the step 6 over here, as you can see, response style. Response style, what does that mean? It means that the freedom that you want the chatbot to answer or give questions while the student input some of the materials in the chatbot. The freedom here, I say, means that, for example, according to the text modules I just said, I wish students to understand how to start the conversations. So probably I wish students to understand different scenarios. Then the response style can be more random. However, if you wish your student to learn a different style for making the arguments, for example, then the response style should not be so random. It should have a more specific format. So you can select from more free or random. The random one or deterministic one. So you can decide how free you want it to be for the responses. So after you decide the style, you can come to submit. To submit means that you are going to share with your students. To share with your students. So you can just copy your agent link and share with your students. But after sharing with your student, how do we understand their performance? In here come to the chapter 3, review the results. So the results will come to 3 different categories. Will be the first one, conversation analysis, and the second one, conversation distributions, and the third one, user chat length distributions. So how do we understand the student's performance? You just come to the platform Act, and then go to my agents on the top of the left-hand side in the middle. You can see my agents. So click the agents you can see here, for example, I created 2 agents over here. The one will be with a Chinese guidance, but of course for you will be have to type in English. And here we have 2 agents, so you can design different agents for your needs of different classes, for example. For example, you wish to teach your student how to make the arguments or teach your student how to read the articles. So the different purposes, then probably you will have to design different agents. So how do we view the results? In here, we can see more information over here and click it. They will be having agent information and conversation records. So after you click the button inside, they will see the different categories over here that you can view the students' performances. So from the top, you can see the chat, clone agent, edit agent, show conversations, and conversation analysis. So to view the students' performance, we will have to show the conversations and conversation analysis. All right. So later, if we have more time, I can show you some of the examples of my students. They make the responses. But in here, as you can see, if you, for example, you forget the link that you would like to share with your student, then you can just copy the clone agents. The link will be copied, and then you can share with your students again. However, if you want to edit the agent one more time, then you just come to edit agents to see if there is any different results that you have never come up with, but you would like to fix it to help your teaching much more efficient. And in here, let's take a look at the chat history from the student's performance. So let's say, for example, I want the chatbot to start a conversation with the students. So as you can see here from the student's performance in the first part, the assistant will say, "Hello there, how are you today?" by the greetings. And my student just type in "good." And the assistant will respond to, "That's great to hear. Today we will be reading an article about the benefits of building a factory near your house. Have you had a chance to read it yet?" So probably the student have already read the context. So he answered yes. What about others? For example, in here, when the student are asking asked some of the questions within the context. Let's say, for example, what are some of the benefits mentioned in the article about having a factory near your house? So the student just responds with job creation, improvements in infrastructure, increase access to goods and services, etc. So in here, the student do understand what the assistant, the chatbot, the questions, and also responsive with the certain answers matching to the questions. So after we knowing that these are the functions that we can check students' performances, so we just invite our students to do the chat with the chatbot EduAct. But mostly I will recommend you after your design of your EduAct chatbot, please go to the chatbot and check with the EduAct to see if the result suits your needs. Sometimes we are creating the prompts that didn't suit our needs, so we have just constantly modify the prompts and the text modules, or even the action strategies for the chatbot, the EduAct, to understand what's going on and what should be done during the responses. So now we have to invite, after the publish of the EduAct, of course, creating your own agent is very thrilling, and then you can share with your student, and the student will having a chances to chat without you, but also with you, because it's a representative of you, but with the help of the chatbot. Through the question and answering, the student can learn their the learning goals that you set for them. So for the students in here, they will have more self-aware learning process. So while they are having a chat with the EduAct, they can use their iPad, their cell phone to do the chatting. And they can self-aware some of the process, the learning difficulties they have to improve with asking the question to get the needs and answers from the chatbot, so that they can learn from the chatbot to understand and enhance their English abilities. And probably, while they are having a conversation with chatbot, they can have more creative conversation making with the chatbot. Sometimes we understand that in the classroom activities, when the students are asked to answer the question during the class, they're probably very nervous. But with the chatbot, probably there will be lower pressure while they are having a conversation with the chatbot, even though we have the agent name as the teacher or the assistant. But they understand they are having a conversation with the robot, the chatbot. So they will have less pressure and come up with more creative or what we cannot imagine or expected conversation with the chatbot. And also, why do we do this? We are trying to create a joyful learning environment. So the chatbot is not only used in the classroom, but also after the classroom. That as a representative of the teacher, whenever or wherever the student needed. So our purpose here is not trying to make teachers to become an engineer, to learn how to design the robots, but to provide a tool, the chatbot, the EduAct, for better teaching and learning experiences for both teachers and students. To help the teachers to set learning goals and to help the students to have better motivation and a joyful learning environment while they have the chat with the machine. So this is the references that I have quoted in the slides. So that will be the end of my presentation. Do we still have time?
Yeah. I would like to ask you if you have used this kind of tool in any other context, in any other of the language acquisition skills.
So far, I just done with writing and speaking, for example. But speaking, the functions here is that for the EduAct, while you are trying to make the text module with having a conversation with the EduAct, actually you can use the voice input to having a practice of the speaking. So while you are doing the voice input for the students, the voice input will be immediately generated in the EduAct while the student is speaking. So the student can generate the context with speaking. And also at the same time, they can check their pronunciation. Because while they are speaking the words wrongly, they can check that the EduAct has detected the words wrongly. So they will just know their pronunciation have some problems. And they're also having a process of improving their speaking skills. So these are two speaking and writing that I have ever done. But for the other skills like reading, actually the main purpose of this EduAct was for reading, understanding. But I haven't tried it for the reading part.
An objection that is made to the writing tasks made with ChatGPT is that maybe students will become more lazy and we cannot check exactly what they're doing. I have never used ChatGPT. That is why I'm asking this.
Probably I can show you some of the interesting samples my student made, for example. Here. Let me show you with this part. Okay, let me log in for demonstration.
Yeah.
So this is actually the home page. I'm sorry. Oh no, somehow it is broken right now. I couldn't show you. Okay.
Sorry.
But the purpose here for this area is that for the argumentation I just mentioned for my students, I actually produced one of the articles I just mentioned in the slides that you can use the argumentative article input into the EduAct and help them to understand through the reading and how to make the arguments. And later, after they have the practice with the EduAct, and then you ask the student to produce the result of their conversation with the EduAct by writing a paragraph to see if the student have generated more ideas before having the chat with the EduAct, so that the student will have generated more ideas. For my students, they are mostly high school students. They sometimes do not have very great ideas for the argumentation article. So probably while they are having difficulties of generating the ideas, through the chat with the EduAct, they can understand what else they haven't think about. So they can generate more ideas. So the EduAct here plays a role of helping the student to generate more ideas and then come to the writing part will be what we are going to do as a teacher to monitor what the student had already done with the EduAct and try to ask them to generate one of the let's say, for example, the essay or the only one paragraph or summary of what you have checked with the agreement or disagreement with the abstract. So probably that's one of the writing part that you can do in the classroom.
Okay, very interesting.
But you can, of course, using the text module to suit the needs for your writing, because sometimes we probably want the student to, let's say, modify or summarize an article. Probably you can upload a newspapers or the article you would like your student to modify. So probably the student just read the article and ask the adjunct how to modify or how to do the summary. So the adjunct can also having the purposes of helping students how to understand the summary skills, how to summarize the article.
It's important.
Yes,
Reasoning on topics is important.
yes. So, but it depends on the text module you set. So for the writing, I believe it can definitely achieve it. But for the different part, we have to try it again and again to suit the needs of our teaching goals.
Okay.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, of course. It is a very interesting topic because this is a tool that is continuing to be increased, but it is important to know how to use it the right way. So
Yes,
your ideas and hints and examples are very important because we can experiment and follow other people's experience. So I think your explanation may be of inspiration to someone who wants to start using these tools. So
thank
thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
For the final part, as a reminder that there's a difference. Some people would like to argue that what's the differences between the ChatGPT and adjunct is that you cannot set the text module for the ChatGPT, but you can set the text modules and the action strategy for the adjunct to follow. So that's the very big differences that you can achieve.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you. And I thank you very much on behalf of TESOL Italy for your presentation. It was very, very interesting, as I said, and we hope to cooperate in future with you and with university you collaborate with and the professor who unfortunately could not be present. So thank you very much for being here and
Thank you.
to meet again. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.